Hey, welcome back. This is Mr. Elmhorst with the science help video. We're going to take a look at the unit test review for Aqueous solutions. So one of the words that's associated with Aqueous is going to be water, or it's a liquid. All right, so during the process of dissolving a solute, so dissolving is mixing a solute, what does the mechanical stirrer help with? So the mechanical stirrer helps swirl or mix up the solution together with the solute in the water, and it helps agitate. It helps agitate the solution. Okay, which of the granule sugars would have the slowest rate? So it's a multiple choice. If you had big pieces of sugar, they would dissolve slower. If you had small powdery sugars, it would dissolve faster. So which one dissolves slower? It's going to be the bigger sugar cubes. Okay, which type of granule sugar would have the greatest or fastest rate of dissolution? So if it's going to mix faster, the smaller the pieces, the faster it's going to mix. So powder sugar would mix the fastest when you're talking about different sizes of sugar that you're going to put into a water solution. So what would you need to do in order to make an aqueous solution more diluted? More diluted means more water. So you would need to add more water. So adding more water would make it more diluted. In aqueous solution components, the solution percentages are shown in the chart below. Which one is the solvent? So the solvent is going to be the water. The solvent is what it's going to go into, and then the rest of these are solutes. Okay, so which component in the chart has the greatest concentration of solute? The highest solute here, we have 1%, 6%, 7%. So between 6 and 7, which one is the highest? That's going to be Splenda sweetener. Okay. What effect does adding water have on an aqueous solution? So adding water changes the concentration, it dilutes it. Water dilutes the solution, or it dilutes it. What can you do to increase the rate of dissolution? How do you make it dissolve faster? In order to make it dissolve faster, you can agitate it or you can stir it. Stir or agitate. That would help it mix faster, and it would increase the rate of dissolution. When making orange juice from frozen concentrate, which two options would help you increase? Two options that are going to help you increase the concentration. Increase the concentration. You need more concentration, you need more solute. So solute, you can add more, or by adding more, you double the solute. But we were focused on concentration. In order to get more concentrated, you need more solute. Okay, number 10, when making orange juice from frozen concentrate, which two options will dilute it? Well, water will dilute it. So water, so you're going to add more water or double it, which is also meaning adding more water. Which two options below would help you understand how to agitate? How to agitate, or how agitation affects the rate of dissolution. Agitation affects the rate. So which two things could you do? You could record when you're mixing it how many of the swirls, and then how fast. Record the swirls and record the time. So how much time it took for the solute to dissolve into the solvent. So which two options would make a solution more concentrated? So you want to make it more concentrated, so you need more solute. More concentrated, you need more solute. So solute, you would add more. Or increase the solute. Which two options would make it less concentrated? So we need two options and we need it less concentrated. So less concentrated is going to be more water. So you can add water or decrease the solute. So adding more water is going to make it more diluted or less concentrated, but then if you decrease the amount of solute that you put in there, that would make it less concentrated. Okay, which option best describes the solute and the solvent? The solute and the solvent of apple juice. So apple juice, the concentrate is the solute. The concentrate is the solute, and the water is the solvent. Now, within your workstations today, the calculators are placed out there only because we can use them just for right now to help us understand concentration, but we're also going to use it for our speed unit. So in your math class, you learned in 6th grade to create ratios, but then you can also make the ratios into fractions and then the fractions into decimals. So just a quick example here. So 50 milligrams out of mixed with 200 milliliters of water would give you a concentration of 25%, or 0.25, or 0 and 25 hundredths. All right, so we're just looking at the ratio of solute to water, so 10 divided by 150. So we got 0.0666, but we're going to round that to 67. So that's going to be 0.067. but we're just going to focus on the hundredths place value, 2 decimal place values. Okay, so that's 10 divided by 150. So here we have 30 out of 100. So 30 divided by 100, that's going to give you 30%, or 0.30. And then the last one, checking the concentration, we have 20 milligrams of solute out of 200 milliliters of water. So 20 divided by 200, that's going to be 0.10 hundredths decimal place value. So now we can go through, we have 0.2, 0.0, 0.3, and 0.1. And the question is asking for which one is the most concentrated. So we want the highest solute to solvent ratio. And that looks like it's going to be right here at 30%. So that would be the most concentrated solution, the most solute that's being mixed in the amount of water. All right. Which of the following describes a solution with a low amount of solute? A low amount of solute, if you have a low amount of solute compared to solvent, compared to water, if there's only a little bit of solute, then this is going to be a diluted solution, but it's going to be more diluted because there's less solute. What happens to the concentration of salt water if you add more salt? Well, if you put more salt in it, add more salt, but you keep the same amount of water, well, more salt is more solvent. More solute. And if you put in more solute, you get more concentrated. All right, last one, best one. Which of the following actions will not increase the rate at which something dissolves? Which one is not going to make something dissolve faster? Okay, one thing that does not make it dissolve faster, if you add more solute, adding more solute, all that does is it increases concentration. Okay, it does not increase dissolution. Okay, so make sure you have your notes completed, filled everything out, and continue to practice. You may use this as your study guide, take it home, use it as your study guide, and practice the quizzes with the questions that go with it.